We've produced over 30 alumni that have gone into space. That's 8% of all astronauts. One of our most famous alumni is Neil Armstrong, of course. His legacy continues here at Purdue University with the Neil Armstrong Hall of Engineering and a number of scholarships that reflect his name, legacy, and spirit.
We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other thing, not because they are easy, but because they are hard.
0. All engine running. It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
The way we fly began to change in the 1940s. America was shifting from propeller systems into jet propulsion, and the early foundations of rocket systems began to emerge. By the 1950s, America's eyes looked even higher towards space. That ambition culminated in the birth of NASA in 1958. Purdue was a fundamental part of that shift. We were one of the first universities in the country with an aeronautical engineering program, sending graduates directly into companies building America's first jet engines. Purdue didn't just watch the race to the moon, we helped win it.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
What would you think best describes the education sector?
Oh, undoubtedly the word discovery. When I think of discovery, I think about how it means finding new ideas, new inventions, and really moving humanity forward. And Purdue really sits at the center of that, whether it was from the early days of air flight here on Earth and then moving into space. We've been a part of the fundamental research and the development of the people and workforce that have allowed this country to do that. Purdue University in West Lafayette, Indiana, was founded in 1869 as Indiana's land-grant university. Land grants across the United States were established with the Morrill Act signed by President Lincoln. What it did is it enhanced affordability and access for a range of topics, including agriculture, engineering, and beyond. And what it has done, it has led to really the greatness that is America. We're committed that every individual in the U.S. and beyond should have access to higher education. We also support the research and education that are auxiliary to that. We've been classified as an R1 institution, and that classification is reserved for the universities that have the highest and greatest research activity and output.
Hello, my name is Abigail Mizzi, and I'm a graduate research assistant at Purdue University. The research that's going on here is phenomenal, and I'm in a lab, which is something I didn't think I'd get to be a part of or even really knew what that meant until I got here. But my work as a graduate research assistant is to get to lead a team. And so I have a team of 12 undergraduate students, and we're working to build a system that aims to go fly on the first university-chartered spaceflight with Virgin Galactic called Purdue One.
A few new faces will soon appear on this wall as the Cradle of Astronauts expands with the world's first all-Boilermaker flight heading to suborbital space next year.
Every day I wake up and I'm like, is this really true? Is this really happening?
She'll go where no current Purdue student has ever gone before, to space.
And so my experiment is to study fluids and microgravity, and specifically what happens when they're in motion, which happens in any spacecraft. If you have liquid on it, this experiment helps you better understand what's going on. Everyone that knows Purdue has shown from day one that they want to support me in my goals and that I want to support them. Like, there is that built trust there. It means a lot to me getting to give back to this university and do my best to make sure that what we go up to do on that mission is successful and that we get the data that we need and we do encourage and expand the knowledge base for the research community.
Purdue's a major research university, and part of that portfolio includes the space program, funding from NASA. We respond to NASA research announcements for their needs and do these projects for the nation. Even early on in the space program, Purdue played a major role. That's why we're known as the Cradle of Astronauts. First man on the moon, the last man off the moon were Purdue graduates, and we're going to be back on the moon in this next step in Artemis 4. Our research is focused on understanding plants and that environment because we intend in the future to build agricultural systems on the moon. We've always envisioned that plants are going to be a major component, just like here on Earth, to be able to achieve that goal of really being able to separate humans from the Earth for the first time. America has been the leader. And if you talk to people around the world, they all believe in NASA. And I think we have an obligation now to continue that. So that's really part of what we need to do in the future with Artemis, is open those doors not only for our country, but for all humanity.
One area I'm particularly proud of is our initiatives in One Health. And what that means here at Purdue is looking at the interplay between humans, animals, and the environment. Bringing those disciplines together is working in a preventive space to ensure the future of the country. Purdue University has 58,000 current students and 600,000 living alumni. And it is our current students and our former students that are helping America take the next giant leap in space advancement and research overall.
My next giant leap is connecting people, policy, and innovation to strengthen rural communities.
To use my skills in computer science to help make tools that make people more productive in their everyday lives.
Improving manufacturing and supporting engines that power critical infrastructures.
Teaching physics through the lens of empathy and excellence.
Ensuring the future of responsible AI's design, usage, and governance.
Beginning to work as a cybersecurity analyst, working to detect, investigate, and stop real-world cyber threats.
Providing veterinary care and designing policy to keep animals, communities, and ecosystems healthy and safe.
Strengthening resources for marginalized communities by enhancing health equity through policy change grounded in community-based research.
Become a nuclear pharmacist, advancing precision medicine in diagnostic imaging and cancer research.
So again, when it comes to access, we want anyone to be able to reach our extraordinary education. And we'll continue to do that through an evolving workforce lens. We'll continue to support America's leadership into space and advanced technologies.